It's my favorite time. Let's gua sha together. Remember, we want to start with a clean face, so I cleansed my skin with my Josh Rosebrook Moisture Balance Cleanser. Now I'm giving it a little hydrating, refreshing mist with my Hydration Accelerator Mist. Then I'll apply my facial oil and we're good to go. As always, I'm using the Scrub Me Nourishing Serum as my facial oil massage medium. I'm taking a couple pumps of this, patting it onto my chest, neck, back of neck, because we're hitting the back of our neck today as well. Also putting that onto my face. This is a light layer of this antioxidant-rich facial oil. This will provide the proper slip and glide for our gua sha stone. So now we're going to start with either the comb edge of your gua sha stone or the long flat edge, and we are going to glide down and up along the back of our neck. So starting on one side, you can either choose the right side or the left side. We're using medium firm pressure here because this is a release motion. We are taking the gua sha and first dragging downward and then gliding back upwards. Dragging down, gliding back upwards. We're doing this for about 30 seconds. You can do it for a little bit longer if you'd like. You can do it for shorter if you'd like, but we are opening and releasing some of the tension in the back and sides of our neck. So now moving to the other side, gliding down, gliding back up, lots of connection with the stone to my skin. So I'm basically laying the stone flat on my skin, gliding down, then turning it over, laying it flat and gliding it back up. Remember, medium firm pressure here. This is a release motion. This should feel really good along the back and side of your neck. We really just want to open up these lymphatic drainage passageways. So I'm gliding up and down a couple more times, and then we are going to move to our next release motion on the back of our neck. Using the U edge right here, we are going to glide up the back of our neck where our spine is. So hug that U edge right along your spine. Use that same medium firm pressure that we're using for release and glide it all the way up the back of your neck. When you hit your skull, you can give it a little wiggle or you can just apply more pressure. So if you can see, right there is where you want to hug your U edge. Along the back of your neck, right there where your spine is, little bit of a wiggle or some pressure once you get to your skull. This is amazing for release if you get headaches in the back of your head. If you have some neck tension, you can roll your neck around, get some maybe crackles and pops if you may, and then glide the stone there a few more times. And releasing that tension is so great for lymphatic flow. So let's do a little bit more tension release. Where I'm touching right here is where my skull meets my neck, and then you're going to take whatever side of the gua sha feels good to you. So that long, smooth, flat edge of the gua sha stone nestles so perfectly right there behind my skull where the back of my neck meets my head. And you will take the gua sha stone and press it onto the back of your skull ridge and do small circular motions. This is going to give us so much specific targeted release. And like I said, any release of tension is really helpful for lymphatic drainage, lymphatic flow, so we can depuff. It's going to alleviate discomfort and tension and tight muscles in the back of your head, so it will help with headaches. And then also, this type of release helps our faces to look more lifted and get more oxygen flow. So I intuitively kind of roll my neck and head around, really get in there with the gua sha stone. This is definitely one place where we can use really firm pressure if you want. When we move on to the front of our neck and face, we will be using light to medium pressure. So this back of neck area is really the place where you can use that firm pressure that you might want to use when you are massaging yourself. So I'm working on the other side of my head, just moving along that skull ridge, kind of moving my head around, working out that tension, and I'm making those small circular motions while holding the gua sha stone right there onto the back of my skull ridge. You can do this for as long or as short as you want to. And then when I'm done, I like to roll it out, shake out my shoulders, and get ready for the rest of our gua sha massage. So we will be working on one side of our face and neck at a time. I'm starting on my right side. Take the U edge, place it underneath your ear, do 2 short downward drags, and then glide it all the way down to your collarbone. So drag downwards 2 times, short, glide it all the way down to the collarbone. And we're going to do this 4 times. This is our basic lymphatic opener movement. This is opening that lymphatic drainage passageway that's right there underneath the ear. 4 times. This is our last time. Short drag, glide all the way down. And remember, hold the stone flat on your skin. And from here on out, we'll be doing each gua sha movement 7 times. So using the U edge of the stone again, we are going to hug it and glide it along that SCM muscle in our neck. If you turn your head, you can usually see that muscle pop out a little bit. It's what I was just pointing to there. We are hugging that U edge along that SCM muscle, laying the stone flat on your neck. Remember, lots of connection of the stone to your neck. Glide it up slightly diagonal, and you will end right behind your ear. This is a lovely release and lift motion for the neck, so we're kind of elongating our neck area here. So we'll do this upward gliding motion 7 times, but for the last 2 strokes, I'm going to switch it up on you a little bit. We're going to glide up behind the ear, flip the stone around, and then glide the stone downward along that lymphatic drainage passageway off the shoulder. So once again, up the neck, slightly diagonally, then flip the stone, glide it down along the passageway for lymphatic drainage and off the shoulder. That's a little more advanced of a movement, but I know you guys can handle it. So now we're going to work on the front of our neck, so we can use the comb edge or a long flat edge. We are going to glide the gua sha stone using medium light pressure. So medium light pressure gliding up the neck. Use your opposite hand as an anchor hand to create that little bit of tug and pull in the skin. So we're gliding the gua sha stone up the neck. Use your opposite hand to follow behind the gua sha stone and create a little bit of tug and pull in the skin by keeping your skin taut using that other hand. If you have questions about this anchor hand or how to hold the stone on your skin, I suggest you go back to my gua sha basics tutorial and look at that first. Because knowing how to properly use your other hand, how to properly hold the stone, and how to prep your skin correctly is actually really essential for getting these visible results that we want from face massage. So now we are finishing up our 7th movement, gliding up the neck area, and then we're moving underneath the jaw. So take your U edge, hug it underneath your jaw. It'll fit really nicely underneath there. And if you want to place an anchor hand on your chin, you can. If you don't want to use your other hand during this movement, you don't have to. I'm showing you both variations. And I'm using medium firm pressure here, the same type of pressure that I used on the back of the neck. So our jaw bone is one of the strongest bones in our body. We also really want to release the tension here. So if you can see, I'm even wiggling the stone in some areas that I feel a little bit of tension, stickiness. So hug that U edge right underneath your jawbone. Use firm pressure, medium pressure, whatever feels good, and glide it along that jawbone. And we are just sculpting away right here. So 7 times, glide underneath, and then we're going to move on to the jaw and we'll switch up our pressure again. So now using that same U edge, we are placing the stone flat onto your skin and gliding it right along that jaw. So we're going along the jaw instead of underneath. So lay the stone flat on your skin, light medium pressure here because this is lymphatic drainage. Glide the stone all the way to underneath your ear and then follow along using your other hand so we can keep that skin taut. This is that little bit of tug and pull that we want to create lymphatic drainage and then help firm the skin a little bit too. So gliding along the jaw using the U edge 7 times here, and remember, light medium pressure, that's what we want. I also do want to note that we want to go slow with our lymphatic drainage movements and really take our time, and that's what will give you those amazing contour and complexion clearing results. So once you have finished up that 7th stroke, now you can take the comb edge or the long flat edge and we're going to work on our cheek area. So this is another advanced movement. Watch me. I'm starting by my ear, doing short outward strokes, and then moving the gua sha stone closer and closer towards my nose and mouth, still doing those outward strokes. This is basically unblocking stagnant lymphatic fluid so that when we do those long strokes across the cheek, it will actually work to drain the lymphatic fluid. And please remember your light pressure here. So now using that same edge of the gua sha stone, place it right next to your mouth and glide outward towards your ear. Same type of movements, holding the stone flat onto your skin, using that light pressure, moving very slowly. We are gliding 7 times by placing the stone next to our mouth and then gliding outward towards the ear. Use your anchor hand to hold your skin taut, or the skin on our cheek can be very taut by itself already, just like the skin on our forehead, so you don't have to use your anchor hand here if you really don't want to. I still use my anchor hand because I feel like I do get better contour and lymphatic drainage results when I do use it here. And then also I just like to be in the good habit of using it because I know that it's very beneficial for gua sha massage. So we just finished up that 7th movement across the cheek. Now we'll take the U edge, nestle it right next to our noses, and then glide along the cheekbone out to your temple, right to the top of your ear. So once again, nestle the gua sha stone right next to your nose, glide it along the apple of the cheek, along the cheekbone, out towards the ear. We're using our other anchor hand to hold our skin a little bit taut, using that light pressure again for lymphatic drainage, and then gliding the stone all the way out across our temple above our ear. We're doing this 7 times, and this is going to help define and sculpt that cheekbone. So once again, I'll remind you here that we want the gua sha stone to be laying flat on your skin. Sometimes I feel like our hands can float a little bit up and then all of a sudden there's only an edge of the stone touching our skin, but really remember connection of the stone with the skin. So lay the stone flat, glide it along your skin. Now we are going to work right underneath the eye, so pick whichever corner of the gua sha stone works for you. Fit it right there, right underneath your tear duct, and then glide it on that delicate eye skin right underneath your waterline out to your temple. This is the lightest pressure here, even with your anchor hand. We are gently placing the stone on the skin and then gliding it out to the temple. So follow along underneath your eye, right there underneath the waterline where your lower lashes are. Glide the stone outward 7 times, and remember to be so delicate here. We want to improve the skin, not impair it. So go super slow, and then make sure you're holding the skin taut with your anchor hand because that's something that's going to firm the skin underneath our eyes, which is what everyone wants, right? Now we're going to use the comb edge or the long flat edge or the short edge and glide from the outer corner of our eye across the temple to our hairline. So I'll show you using the short edge here. We're just doing this 7 times. It's pretty quick, little wiggle at the end from the outer edge of your eye across the temple to your hairline. Now we will do the same exact thing above our brow. So right in the middle of your brow, right above it, glide up to your hairline. Hold the stone completely flat on your skin. The skin on our forehead is already super tight and taut, so we don't need an anchor hand here. Just glide up 7 times, little wiggle at the end. Super easy. Now we're going to move to the middle of our forehead. Once again, glide upward from in between your brows up to your hairline, and we will also do this 7 times. I chose to do each movement 7 times today because I feel like the key number of times to do each movement is somewhere between 6 and 10 times to see results, and doing each movement 7 times means we'll get really great results, but we won't have a massage that goes over half an hour. So take that long flat edge of your stone for this final lymphatic drainage movement, glide it from the middle of your forehead out towards your hairline. So since I'm working on the right side of my face, I'm gliding it out to the right, and we are doing this movement 5 times. You can do medium firm pressure here or medium light pressure here. I am looking and feeling so renewed, but let's finish it off with some lifting motions. So take that comb edge of the gua sha stone, very important to have that. Hold your skin taut and then create friction using the comb edge along areas that you want to pull oxygen flow, blood flow, essentially firming that skin. This is creating microcirculation so we can firm the skin, reduce fine lines and wrinkles, and then create a lifting effect as well. So right now we're filing above our top lip and then in that nasal labial fold where we see sagging or deep wrinkles later in life. And then above the top lip are some areas where we get creping, little fine lines and wrinkles. So we want to prevent those or even reduce visibility of ones that we already have. So we're holding the skin taut, filing right above the lip, and then filing in that crease that's our nasal labial fold. We want to do this until our skin feels a little bit warm or turns pink. So now you'll take that U edge and hug it right into that nasal labial fold like you see me doing here. One edge by your nose, one edge by your mouth. Then you will scoop up that tissue, very firm pressure there. Hold it for just a moment, maybe a breath, and then you'll lay the gua sha stone flat on your skin and glide upward towards your temple. We're doing this 3 times. You can do this more times if you want to. It's a little bit of an advanced movement, so it might take you some practice. Hug your stone into the nasolabial fold, take a breath, really firm pressure, scooping those tissues. Now you'll lay the stone flat on your skin and glide upwards. Ooh, I love this sculpting motion so much. Take a moment to admire yourself, maybe shake it out a little bit, and now we'll do this on the forehead. So comb edge right there on the forehead with those friction motions, file along that skin, holding it taut with your other hand. The number 11 lines run up and down in between our brows, so you can file perpendicular to those lines if you have them, or if you want to prevent number 11 lines, which who doesn't. Then we'll file up and down along our forehead to prevent lines that run across the forehead. You can even work on really deep wrinkles this way, and over time you can reduce visibility of those wrinkles or even completely erase them. Now I'm going to scoop the tissue right underneath the brow and lift upward. So first I'm starting at the front of my brow, scoop and lift up, then the middle of the brow, scoop and lift up, and then the end of the brow, scoop and lift up. I'll show you this a few more times. You can get the hang of it. We'll do this 3 or 4 times. So scoop and lift up in the beginning of the brow, in the middle of the brow, and then at the edge of the brow. So I'll point to those areas right there for you. Let's do this again. Take part of your gua sha stone, any part that feels good, scoop, lift up right to your hairline. We're giving ourselves a natural brow lift here. And this is our final movement for this side of our face. So when we finish this, take the time to admire how firm, how even, how lifted your face looks, and let's move to the other side. Using that U edge, hug it right underneath your ear, glide it downward in short strokes, and then all the way down to your collarbone, little wiggle. Short stroke, glide all the way down to your collarbone. Remember, we are doing this 4 times. Use light pressure here, medium light pressure here. This is a lymphatic drainage opener. And for that next movement, this is our SCM movement. We are still using the U edge, so find that SCM muscle on your neck, maybe move your neck around a little bit, let it make itself visible for you, and then take the U edge, hug it along that muscle, glide it upward slightly diagonally right behind your ear. We are doing this 7 times. Now we will do each movement 7 times. And here I am placing my anchor hand on my décolleté just to feel a little bit more grounded. This is helpful for me. You don't have to put it here. You can always keep your hand down at your side. So remember, these last 2 motions are a little bit different. Glide all the way up diagonally and then flip the stone around when you get to the back of your skull. Glide down that lymphatic drainage pathway and then off your shoulder. So up again, all the way. When you get to the back of your skull, flip the stone, glide down the side of your neck, off your shoulder. Amazing. Using the comb edge or the long flat edge, we are gliding up the neck. Use your other hand to hold your skin taut. That's your anchor hand. So we're gliding up the neck 7 times just underneath your jaw right here. This is elongating and lifting our neck even more. And then we're even erasing those little fine lines and creases that we get in our neck. And I think that a lot of people have those now because we're constantly looking down at our phones and devices. So things to constantly keep remembering are to keep the stone flat on your skin with a lot of connection. Make sure that you're not moving too quickly, that you're not speeding anything up or skipping any movements. And then also make sure that you have the right pressure with your stone, that you're not pressing too firmly. All of these details are going to create such a beautiful massage for you and beautiful results that you're going to really be like, wow, after half an hour. Okay, so moving underneath the jaw, this is another medium firm pressure movement because it is a release motion. So take that U edge, hug it right underneath your jaw. We are pressing onto the mandible, our jawbone right here. So you can use that anchor hand like I'm using here, or you can choose not to for this motion. You will wiggle in any places that you feel like the stone is getting stuck, like there's little sticky areas, like there's tension. So 7 times gliding right underneath your jaw. Think of this motion as sculpting that bone, releasing any tension so you can really get in there this time. And then when we move onto the jaw, we're going to switch up our pressure again. So still using that U edge, now we will place it onto our face, laying the stone flat on our skin. We are using medium light pressure, veering on the lighter side of pressure for this movement. Use your other hand as an anchor hand to hold your skin taut, and you are gliding the gua sha stone from underneath the corner of your mouth all the way out towards the bottom of your ear, right along your jawbone. Trace that jawbone. We're gliding out 7 times. Remember, move slowly. This is a lymphatic drainage motion. We are sculpting our jaw area even more right now. So I have a tip for you if you want it. I find it very enjoyable to either listen to music or listen to a podcast while I'm doing my gua sha. So maybe I'm putting on the new Taylor Swift album, maybe I'm listening to spa music to get super zen, or maybe I'm listening to my favorite skincare or pop culture podcast, but I'm definitely always listening to something while I'm doing my face massage. So now for the cheek lymphatic drainage movements, do those short strokes starting back by your ear, dragging out towards your hairline, and then moving inward towards your mouth. This is unblocking stagnant fluid. Then we'll take the flat edge, either the comb edge or the flat edge, and then glide along your cheek area out towards your ear. We're doing that 7 times using the anchor hand. So first we were unblocking the stagnant lymphatic fluid, and now we're gliding along the cheek area and then draining that fluid even more. So this is helping with contour and then helping with better and clearer complexion too. So finish up your 7th movement, and then we are going to take the U edge and place it right next to our nose and glide along the apple of our cheek and our cheekbone. So remember, for this motion, we're tracing along our cheekbone with the gua sha stones. We're hugging the U edge right next to our nose, tracing outward, slightly upward across our temple. Medium light pressure here, and definitely use your anchor hand. There's a lot of fluid buildup because of sinus pressure and sinus buildup, so we can definitely get a lot of drainage in this area and then create more contour in the apple of our cheek. Finish up those 7 movements, and then we're moving underneath our eye. Take any corner of the gua sha stone that feels good to you. Remember, this is super, super light pressure. You are basically just placing the stone on your skin, using your other anchor hand to make sure that you're holding your skin taut, not using a lot of pressure with your anchor hand either, and then gliding the stone right underneath your eye on that very delicate skin. For this, we are trying to firm the skin under our eye and then also move any stagnant lymphatic fluid, because oftentimes that stagnant lymphatic fluid is what creates the bags or darkness underneath our eyes. So finish up those 7 strokes underneath your eye, and then we're going to move right onto our temple. So remember, you can use that comb edge, the short edge, or the long flat edge, and we are gliding from the outer corner of our eye right across the temple to the hairline. Little wiggle at the end. These are super short strokes. Do that 7 times. Then you'll move above your brow right there. Glide the stone from the top of your brow up to your hairline 7 times. Little wiggle at the end of each stroke. And this is when my phone was like, low battery, please stop filming. And I'm like, phone, I'm almost done with the gua sha massage. We got to get this lift in. Hello. So finishing up those 7 strokes, then moving in between our brows, 7 strokes upward, right in the middle of the forehead. With this, you can use light pressure, you can use medium pressure. Just remember that little wiggle when you get to your hairline. 7 times here. Amazing. Now you'll take the comb edge or the flat edge, and we are gliding across the forehead. So gliding off to the left side now. If you're working on the right side, glide off to your right side. Do this 5 times. Glide from the middle of your forehead out to the edge of your face. We're just finishing off lymphatic drainage here. Now for my favorite friction motions around the mouth, hold your skin taut, take that comb edge of your gua sha, create the friction that's creating the microcirculation to reduce and prevent fine lines and wrinkles. So we're filing above our lip right here, and then we're also filing in that nasal labial fold crease. And we'll do this until our skin starts to feel warm or turn a little bit pink or flushed, and that's how we know that we've got the right circulation and microcirculation going. I really want to focus on my lip area because I do like to drink out of straws, and I know that at some point later in my life, I'm going to get those little tiny fine lines around my lips. So if I can prevent them with gua sha, let's do it. When you've finished up your friction, you'll take that U edge, hug it right in that nasal labial fold, scoop up the tissues, lots of pressure here. This should feel like some really good release, maybe even in your sinuses, and then lift up towards your temple. So once again, fit it right there in your nasal labial fold, scoop that tissue up, take a breath, apply some pressure, then lay the stone flat on your face and glide it all the way up, really sculpting your face. We'll do this 3 times, so we've got one more time. Scoop and lift. Final friction right here on our forehead. This is for reducing visibility of lines and wrinkles, for preventing fine lines and wrinkles. Think of this as nature's Botox. I never plan on getting Botox or fillers myself, so I'm really using this gua sha to erase all my lines and wrinkles. So remember, take the gua sha and do friction up and down on your forehead, and then you can go in between the brows and erase and prevent those number 11 lines there. And same as around your mouth, you will do these friction motions until your skin turns warm, flushed, or a little bit pink. Final movement is that brow lift. So starting at the inner corner of our brow, then we'll go to the middle of our brow, and then the outer edge of the brow. So on the inner corner, take part of your gua sha stone, however it feels good, scoop up a little bit of that tissue, and then lift upward to your hairline. Then you'll move to the middle of your brow, same thing, scoop and lift. Edge of your brow, take the corner of the gua sha stone or whatever edge feels good, scoop and lift upward. We'll do this 3 times. So at the inner part of the brow 3 times, the middle part of the brow 3 times, and the edge of your brow 3 times. And then we're all done and we can admire our lifted, glowing, and contoured faces. One thing that I do like to do when I finish a massage is look at my face in the mirror, see if anything looks a little bit uneven to me or if anything needs a little bit more work, and then I'll do a couple extra strokes here and there just to make everything look perfect. I love it. Let's finish off with just some gentle taps underneath our eyes. This tapoment massage is a really great way to bring oxygen flow, blood flow, and that microcirculation that helps firm the skin to that delicate skin underneath our eyes. So we're just very gently tapping on the skin, helping it to firm, to get more radiant, and it feels really amazing and relaxing too. Guys, we're all done. I hope you look and feel refreshed and renewed.